Moo and welcome to the Pinktron. I am Craig Martin, and I have with me to drink tonight a farmer's daughter blonde ale. And this is actually the non-alcoholic version thereof. It comes with alcohol as well. But yeah, it's a nice one. Whitewater Brewing Company in Eastern Ontario. So I'm joined this week by Steph Etienne. Steph, what are you drinking?
Well, it's summer. Well, temperature-wise, is that it's summer weather because it's a heat wave here in Europe, and so to avoid to turn into bottle of Ghoul, I have the trusty Fanta lemon to hydrate.
Good stuff. And joining us for his Pinktron debut, we have Bill Regatz. Bill, what are you drinking?
I am just fresh off of the HSRL, so I'm, drinking the exciting water still. Unfortunately, nothing too exciting.
Good on you. Okay, so speaking of a very desperate need to rehydrate, yeah, it's a rough, sweaty go for HSRL this week with the race against the clock time trial on Bologna. So, yeah, Bologna TT, that's 8 kilometers, and 6 kilometers is mostly flat, and 2 kilometers is definitely not. Yeah, how much do we want to talk about this week? We've talked about this before, but you know,
We talked about it so many times, I think, but yeah, even though it's mostly in kilometers, it's mostly flat, but it's normally a bit 50-50 depending on your your ability.
well,
Take a bit,
yeah,
uh, give or take or less, you take the same amount on the flat section as you do for the climb.
yeah, which makes it
And,
very interesting pacing wise.
and thankfully, it's only just the one lap.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Unlike the 100 kilometers of Bologna we did that one time.
yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah, the Chris Greenland Memorial Fondo. Chris is still alive, but I think the plan was that that was going to kill him. Um,
It,
so
it came close for many of us that did it.
yeah, so Bill, how'd your race go?
Um, it was okay. It looks like I, got second on it, on the time in this first edition. Couple of mistakes made. But it was a pretty tight race for everybody that was in that pen, in the D pen. Um, it all pretty tight, and a lot of the regular usual suspects that do this HSRL series in the D category. So, and I think we're all on the verge of probably upgrading to C. So it's how deep do I want to go? Do I want to race next week, or do I want to pop myself up and start over in the next category up kind of deal. But yeah, it was a good ride. Um, like I said, probably a bit of a pacing mistake on the climb. Um, but I'm pretty happy with it.
Okay, how'd that go then? I guess the I'm just looking at
Well,
your race here.
I was going pretty good, and I was keeping an eye on all the other guys. Ernst, the Bavarian Bullet,
Yeah,
was was right behind me, and he's a he's pretty strong. He's definitely a diesel rider,
yeah.
and he was making time on me in the flats. But I'm a bit lighter than he is, so I knew I could probably make that back. So I was keeping an eye on him, but I wasn't keeping an eye on oh, what's his name? That I'm only here to eat pizza.
I'm only here so I can
Uh,
eat pizza. Yeah.
yeah, he ended up nipping me on the climb. Well, it was more than a nip. I think he beat me by about 12 seconds.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I I let off a little bit too long to get a bit of a spin in before I kicked at the top, and that's I'm not gonna say that's what lost it, but it would have been closer had I paced that portion of it a little bit better. I think I had the flats down pretty good. Um, it was the climb that mistakes were made.
Okay. This is just a question because I'm not actually sure. Was this one set up with TT module or mass start?
No, it had the conveyor belt.
Okay. Yeah. No, I just wasn't sure.
Yeah, yeah, regular conveyor belt start every 15 seconds, um, which was nice because I thought I was much closer to being the first out of the pen when I saw my start time than I was. So I had a couple of people in front of me to chase, which is I prefer. I don't like being the first one out, but my teammate Brian, he was first out and he had a pretty good ride. I think it was a PR ride for him, so that's
Okay.
always a good thing.
Yeah, always. Yeah. No, that's good. That's real good. So,
I
no,
think he ended up third.
looks like fourth.
Okay.
Um, yeah, by less than a second to Dominic Harrison. It looks
Oh
like.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Dom is uh Dom is his usual suspect. He's yeah, especially last summer in the series, he and a couple of the ATP riders, uh, and some of the herd and Brian and I, we all had a very fun competitive rivalry amongst us. And
Okay.
a lot of the same people are back.
Good stuff. Yeah, I find once it starts, it usually keeps going.
Yeah,
You'll get most of the same guys back for the next series.
yeah. It's you know just the people that have upgraded since the last one that are missing right now. But
Yeah.
yeah, for most of us in this, um, we're all right at the the limits. We could sneeze and upgrade ourselves.
Yeah. So anyway, no, that's good. I think I'm gonna try and do this tomorrow morning. Probably. I might try tonight, but probably not. I kind of blew up on Box Hill last night in the TTT. So
Oh yeah, Brian and I also did that for WTRL
yeah,
as well. So it's I don't think we went too deep last night in WTRL. At least last night it didn't feel like we did. Um, but tail of the tape. Then the next day, it's you may be feeling great until you start turning the pedals, and it's like
yeah,
Mike Tyson used to say, you may have the best plan on paper until somebody hits you in the mouth, or in
yeah,
this case, the quads.
yeah. No, I was more. I was actually feeling fine. Just I have not been doing anything long for quite a while. So just second half of Box Hill, I just started dropping back. So yeah, I don't expect this TT to go very well either. I've mostly been doing sprints and lifts for the last few months, so or really 6 months. So yep, 6 months into one race.
Yeah, It's you know, different training blocks for different times of the year.
Yep.
My
So
training block actually approves of this round of HSRL, so I guess it's game on for me this round.
good
Wasn't
stuff.
didn't like it so much last round, but we got through it.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's I I don't know about today, but I will probably do another one of these editions um, over the weekend, just just because.
Give her a go. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, good stuff. Okay, Steph, you gonna give it a try or maybe tomorrow morning?
Uh,
Maybe not.
so tomorrow it's still predicted max 33, Sunday 28, maybe, but
Yeah,
to
pretty rough.
because of the heat wave, basically this week became my actual recovery week or down week.
Fair
No
enough.
intention to ride with. I was explaining. I was planning to do also the TTT yesterday. We canceled. I passed on that the day before. We were expected to do a ladder race. We postponed it. It's like a bunch of other ladder teams till next week to race.
Yeah. Okay. No, well, I figured that was probably the case, but unless there
Yeah,
was
yeah,
a
yeah,
cool morning that would yeah.
yeah. Well, cool mornings. I was about to say it's still it at around 7, 8 o'clock when those races were to happen. It was still like 35 degrees, and it's even
Yeah.
during the night it cools the quote unquote it cools down to like 20 or 25 degrees. So
Well, I mean 2025 is not that bad, but
no,
that's
no,
doable. But yeah.
but, but that's also not a fun not the best night, good night's sleep. You also don't really have. So if you do it then in the morning, and not so great legs, yeah,
Yeah.
probably gonna skip this for this weekend. See next weekend. It's predicted around 20, 24, 25 degrees max during the day and 15 degrees Celsius. That is during the night. So much
Yeah.
more much more agreeable.
Yeah, good stuff. So yeah, I think that's it. Bologna, go under over, maybe 90% ish, 85 to 90% of FTP on the flat, and then go hard up the hill.
Yeah, yeah. I'm a climber type, but yeah, though I said it before. I'm a tempo shallower, great climb, a longer climb. This is a bit found it even when I climb a guy, I find it difficult to pace because above 10%. It's tricky for me to
Yeah.
get
No,
moving.
this one's yeah, steep and hard. So, it's what it is. Herd beginner racing. It is end of the month. We looked anyway and made sure it is TikTok. So, enjoy, do your baseline race and stay in the draft and win the sprint. So, the news. There's actually news. Woohoo! So this is Zwift update. There's always a Zwift update. So there's a bunch of new bikes and wheels. Couple things came out of the drop shop. I think I actually own several of them. And yeah, a couple fixes. As far as the new frames, I think the new Cervelo S5, because they removed the S5 2020. So the new S5 is now the fastest road bike on the flat by a very small margin over the Canyon Air Road, the Air Road 2024, I think it is, isn't it? That's the fast one. Anyway, so it is now the fastest by a very small margin, but it is likewise not among the fastest climbers. There's also a new Canyon Super 6 Evo Lab 71 team. So that is basically a match for the specialized SL8. So if you prefer Cannondale to specialized, or you're looking for a frame to be different than everybody else that's on the SL8s, there you go. I think it is basic, yeah, fully upgraded. I think it's trading a second for a second as far as flat and climb. Yeah, so I think it's less than a second behind the new Cervelo S5, so roughly the same as the SL8. I don't know, a little faster than the SL8, and a couple seconds behind the SL8 on the climb. So there you go.
Yeah, and both all the new bikes, you need to get to a level 40 and have a almost 1.7, 1.8 million drop. So
Yep.
there will probably, I don't know where I know the Canyon Arrows was previously. You got it pretty early on, but I don't know with the shuffle a while back or a year back where that is now.
I think it's still pretty early that you want that. I think,
Yeah,
but
like level
I'd have to
10.
go look again at the what to buy at each level article, because that was
Yeah,
updated as well.
yeah. I think I don't know if it was that Canyon Arrow, but I know I bought a Canyon Arrow got like level 10, but I think it's a bit later now. But it was
It's still
basically
level 10.
still
At least according to Swift Insider, it's level 10.
okay.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's one of the among the better all rounder bikes, the 4, 5 all rounder bikes we have now. So for newer, basically for newer people, that's basically the bike to go.
Yeah. Agreed. So, oh, Bill, forgot to ask what do you use for bike for the TT?
Um, for the HSRL,
Yeah.
I went. I swapped. So
Oh, okay. No, that's valid.
I started with the Cadix on the Princeton Wakes, and then I swapped to the Athos.
Okay.
Um, so the Cadix is mine's a level 5, my Athos is a level 4.
Yep.
Um, but if anybody's listening for tips for the next editions of it, I don't necessarily suggest it doing a swap. You're probably better off just using a road bike.
You think?
Um, well, I mean, a lot of it depends. I mean, if you can watt bomb the whole thing, like if um, you can hold high steady watts on it, you could probably get away with a TT bike um, for the whole thing, and maybe just not use a disc like
Yeah.
the go with the Princeton Wakes, I guess, are the wheel of choice for those kind of things right now. I guess it just kind of depends on what you think your strengths and the weaknesses are. So today doing the swap was I don't often do them, um, so it was kind of an experiment, I
Okay, so you
guess.
swapped just the frame, not your wheels, right?
Yeah, I just to make it easier and quicker.
Yep.
So I just started on the Princeton Wakes. Zwifter Bikes had suggested that they were the wheels to use anyway. Um,
Okay.
and it did actually say for me to use a road bike, but that looking at the guys that I was up against, they were they're heavier and they have bigger sprints, so they have all the advantage that over me in the flats and the descents. So that's kind of why I decided to go with the Cadix, just to kind of equalize that out a little bit.
No,
Um,
I think because that gets steep so fast. If you swap right on the steep the beginning of the steep section, you can stop really fast. If you've
yeah,
got play controllers or a Zwift ride, I think a lot of us can get that swap down under 10 seconds now. So,
yeah. So
yeah, it's probably worth it.
and I actually stopped. You know how there's the little bump right before you actually start to climb proper.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's where I did swap.
Okay. I
Yeah.
probably would wait until the hairpin to this really steep, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean I think my swap was probably right at about 9 seconds.
Yep. Nice.
Um,
Yeah,
so
that's
it
good.
it worked out.
Yeah. No, that's good. Yeah, I've really kind of wanted to consider the swap again now that we're with the controllers because all that saying it wasn't worth it was back when we're hitting the A button to stop and then going into the going the pairing screen to stop because that hit the brakes and then going in and it was a lot more than the 10 seconds you can do with the controllers. So
Yeah, if you were lucky, you would do it in like 30.
yeah, well, so some guys were doing them less than that, closer to 20, but yeah, it was there a lot of time. If you weren't on something as steep as this, because this does make you lose less because you have no speed to get back up to. Um,
Right.
it's yeah, you're still probably losing 20 seconds. Yeah.
Yeah,
Not that
it's
it's not that it's 20 seconds, not that it was 30 seconds for the swap, but you were losing 30 seconds with your slowdown and speed up time. Yeah.
yep. And you can still mess a swap up if you're really hypoxic and trying to do a swap
Oh yeah.
in some of these courses. So yeah, it it's definitely one of those things that you have to kind of think about. Is it, the time it's going to take me to do the swap actually going to save me in the long run? Um, and I don't know that this one really did. Um, I don't think it would have. I mean, I don't think I lost because of it. Maybe it would have been closer on the results, but you know,
I yeah, I do. I think that probably paid off for you.
yeah,
I think you probably saved more than 6 seconds between having the Cat X on the flat and the Athos on the climb versus the SL8 on both, which would have been the option, right?
yeah, because I, at least in my pen and amongst the riders that I saw on the course in the flats, I think I was the only one that was on a TT bike.
Yeah, so that's
I'm sure there were others, but
yeah. So that's as far as that whole trade-off goes, um I think you want to be on a road bike on the climb if for the D's. Just you're on the climb for longer, you get more advantage. But I think this I think this swap was probably a good plan.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it I don't think it was the reason why I ended up second.
No,
um,
no. Yeah. Well,
but
just looking at the I mean it's only still only the live power, but just looking at Zwift power watts per kilogram and such, like you guys were almost bang on together. You, Brian and Dominic.
yeah,
And
yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, I'm kind of surprised about I Can Eat Pizza because he did do some of the races in the last round,
Yep.
um, and he was just kind of he was just kind of out there, right? He wasn't necessarily one that we worried about a lot, but we at least for the the overall standings. Um, but he was definitely one that when he showed up in the same pins that either I was in or that Brian and I were both in, we'd keep an eye on him.
Yep. Yep.
Pretty much everybody in this pin are people that we would keep an eye on. Dominic, Ernst, Jens, anybody that rides for ATP.
So I think that is a new best 20 minutes for him.
Yeah, I'm thinking the
So
same thing.
I'm just looking. So yeah, I think that might have been a breakthrough performance for him. So yeah, good on him.
Yeah, good for him. Nothing wrong
So
with that.
yeah, good stuff. So, getting to the exciting part here, Bill. We're going to talk about Bill. Yeah, so I guess yeah, I've talked to you a bit for a few years now. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I guess how'd you come to Zwift?
Um, well, I mean, COVID lockdown had a lot to do with that.
Yeah.
I had uh, I had just had my left knee replaced in December of 19,
Okay.
and then you know, COVID hit. I did all of my therapy and stuff, and I've been cycling for a long time, but part of that was my surgeon was asked me if I had a bike, and I said, well, yes. And do you have like an exercise bike? And at the time, no, I don't. And once I got to a certain point where I could actually turn pedals in therapy, um, he was, if you want or if you can afford it or whatever, get a like an exercise bike and continue your therapy on that. So I went whole hog, got a smart trainer, and tried Zwift for the first time.
Nice.
Um, and I've been doing it ever since. And when I had my second knee replaced
Oh,
um, last not January 25, that was like probably 90% of my recovery, and that was much easier than it was the first time. So I've been, like I said, doing this with stuff since about 20, summer of 2020.
yep.
Um, and I still ride outside. You know, been doing that since 1984,
Yeah.
uh, off and on, as life allows. But yeah, I've long time cycling. I guess I'm long in the tooth now for Zwifting. Yeah, I'm not one of those 2018 people like Paul Smith of the Coyotes, but
Yeah.
I've been doing it all.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, so I think I rode a little bit over the 2 years before COVID, but yeah, I didn't really start on hard on Zwift until lockdown. So I think that's a lot of our origin stories here. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, interesting stuff.
And
Cool.
it is one of those things that if you've spent any time riding at all, doing the free rides and the workouts are always good, but then you start seeing these race things, and you kind of dip your toe in it a little bit,
Yeah.
um, and depending on which races or which series you start with, and a lot of times what level you start at, it can be it can easily become addicting. Like I gotta do ZRL every season, or WTRL, or there are definitely some series that have been long running, that are always popular, including HSRL and some of the other herd series.
Yep.
Um, that HBR is always great to start in. I've done a lot of HBR races,
Yep.
uh, but you can use them as stepping stones through Zwift racing, if the indoors with racing thing is your thing. I still race outside, um, but they can go hand in hand and feed each other.
Yep. Oh no, absolutely. Yeah. So okay, yeah, good stuff. So you're so how do you find with the knee replacements? Like I've had I had surgeons talk to relatives and say, "Oh no, it's you'll be back to replace the other one," kind of things. So
I
I know
mean,
there's a
it
lot of
depends.
belief that it's if it has to be done, it's the best thing and it'll be good. But
Yeah, I mean, it depends on the person. On they may only ever need one. I thought that was the case for me when I had the first one done. Um, and I had been. It wasn't so much that I was putting it off. It was, at the time, the doctors were like, "You're too young. You need to wait.
yeah,
Um, you need to put it off as long as you can." Because at the time when I had needed to do it for a long time.
yeah,
Um, Old football injury, um, is what started it. Osteoporosis, arthritis, and it was basically what finished it all off. But with that one, I thought that was the only one I would ever have. But after I got through that one, was out doing a ride, kind of a longer, spicier group ride outside, and the my right knee had what I thought was just a bit of tendonitis, which can be pretty common amongst cyclists, but it it wasn't going away.
yeah.
So I went back to an orthopedist, and we came in and looked at the X-rays, and the first thing he said was, "When do you want to replace it?" What? I didn't really know that it was in the cards. But
Fair enough.
I also hadn't had issues where I would have thought that I need to go and see him. And it turns out, for me, because of what happened to my left knee, my right knee was basically compensating for so long that yeah, I happen to wear both of them out.
Yeah,
Um, Now, though, for me, and especially with uh, the units that they use, they do last longer.
yep,
Um, if you do the physical therapy, um, that is the biggest difference maker in what makes it a successful replacement.
Yeah.
Because they do start, both times I go for surgery and it's outpatient surgery now,
Yep.
and they have you walking within a couple hours of recovery.
Yeah, that's
Um,
outstanding.
so, you if you do that, you do the exercise, you get your range of motion back. For cycling, my knees can go all day now. Maybe not the rest of me so much, but they can.
Yeah.
So, yeah, if you have those aches and pains and grinding, probably need to see an orthopedist and see what you might need to be have done. Mine were both totals. Um, they do partials
Yep.
now. Um, and it could be that you don't need a total or a partial, but yeah, if your knees ache a lot, that can make life pretty miserable.
You're not wrong. Um, yeah, so I when I was a lot younger, I had some knee pain, and it was the old I twisted a few times, some repetitive strain from a sport, and then for me, when I really got into running and get out of the Armored Corps, yeah, both of those things together kind of strengthened the knee and stopped hurting it, and it's been fine for decades now. So
Yeah, and the best thing about cycling, with knees, as long as you have a good bike fit,
yeah,
um, it is low impact. Um, and I have plenty of friends that are my age that used to be runners that they just don't enjoy it anymore. And it's, why don't you try a bike?
yeah, no. So I mean, I used to be a runner. For me, it wasn't anything about running became bad. It was more, how to say it, I guess, kind of lost interest for a little bit and then kind of fairly quickly got to the point of I'm never going to hit those times again.
Yeah,
Kind of makes that, you know, constant reaching for the new goal. Like, yeah, I'm never getting back there.
yeah. I mean, that the same can apply for cycling. I mean,
Yeah.
with as long as I've cycled, it's I know my absolute best peak days are long gone.
Yeah.
Um, but I mean, I still enjoy it. Um,
Yep.
and I
That's
know what I can and can't do. I know that I am a longer build type person now than I used to be when I was much younger. So I'll in my this current training block, yes, I'm a D, but I'm on the verge of a C, and
yep.
even I'm kind of like, okay, when am I going to get C back?
Yeah.
But believing in the plan, gotta let the plan work. Because I was just before the second knee replacement, I had made it up to B. Um, so I kind of want that back.
Yeah.
But I know that it took me a while to get there, and it'll take me a while to get back there again. And as long as I'm making progress and still enjoying it, then you know I'll keep on keeping on.
Absolutely. No, sounds good. Um, yeah, so I think we're getting closer. Anything else you want to talk about, Bill?
Um, no, I'm good. Or happy to answer any questions that you or Steph have.
No, I think we're probably at a pretty good spot lengthwise here. So I guess Bill, thanks for coming on. I appreciate it, and hopefully it's not the last one.
Oh, no problem. No
Yeah. So
problem. You
thanks
know
to
where
Bill
to find me.
Regetz. Thanks to Steph Etienne. So good luck to everybody on your races, your training, and everything else. Um, beat the heat if you're in Europe. Moo and good night.
The Pink Tron podcast is a production of the Herd Racing League. All nonsense is our own. Thank you to Gavin Ions for the theme music. Moo and Ride On.